Peace. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living God who is one. Blessings to those that are His chosen children. He has selected children, the Supreme Spirit. But understand that everything that is on this plane of existence is used for the Spirit's glory in an incarnated flesh. You are an infinite piece of the Supreme Spirit, which makes you an eternal being. Now understand this. You are an eternal being that will be reincarnated to this plane of existence over and over and over. Now I know the Bible doesn't speak, this Bible here doesn't speak about reincarnation. Okay? But the Egyptians and all of their hieroglyphs and their megaglyphs and these depictions and Semitic writings that people don't understand that have been taken out. You see, people can't grasp the thought that everything that you're reading in this book here came from tablets, came from scrolls, came from something that was put on stone. These books here that you're writing on paper were first written on stone. So they're being translated. So no matter what you get from this story here of the Bible, you must understand that this is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and who knows how many more hundreds of copies have been written down the line, how many times the book has been changed, how many parables have been taken out, how many parables have been put in. Let me tell you, any minister at all that tells you that there are no contradictions in the Bible, when I am clearly reading the entire Bible to you and pointing out all of the contradictions, is the works of the devil and does not walk in truth. Here we're at Deuteronomy chapter 20, going to war. When you go to war against your enemies and see horses and chariots and an enemy greater than yours, do not be afraid of them, because the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, will be with you. When you are about to go into battle, the priest shall come forward and address the army. He shall say, "Hear, Israel, today you are going into battle against your enemies. Do not be faint-hearted or afraid. Do not panic or be terrified by them. Do not be faint-hearted, for the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory." Now, for the Lord your God. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 4, Bible Hub. The Lord here, folks, is the proper name of God of Israel, okay? It's from Hayah, self-existent or eternal. And you know who said Hayah? Hayah. The Indians, the native Indians of this plane of existence here. The self-existing eternal Jehovah is what they're calling him. Let me show you something. Images of Jerusalem. Okay. Here. Images of the Wailing Wall. Here. Well, that's not really one of the greatest images that I've seen of the Wailing Wall. Images of those in prayer at the Wailing Wall. Look at prayer at there's no Wailing Wall there, but they brought it up anyways. Okay? These here Jews, let me show you another picture. right here. You see these Jews right here, and with their little freaking piggy tails. These are your goat horns, is what those are, man. These are your demon horns. Is what those represent. Farrakhan here is in unison with them. Okay, what you're looking at here is a human race that has been hijacked by a demon race. Okay, these are the ones that are at the Wailing Wall. Okay, they're the Wailing Wall bunch of nutbags. Okay, these are not these Jews here are the ones that call this one here for the Lord Jehovah. This is why you have two distinct names between Yahweh, which is the God of Israel. You have the 613 laws of Yahweh, okay? And then you have Jehovah, which is also breaks down to Josephet or Jesus or Jesus, Jehovah. It's all the same name being broke down through the tablets. The translations have been changed. This Lord here, Yahweh, comes from the early tablets and is translated from Yahweh from Enlil. And this is supposed to be those of the Anunnaki. Okay, now, I don't doubt the Anunnaki's existence. Okay, but what they're trying to teach you here, folks, is that aliens are coming from outer space, all right? And you need to understand that this plane of existence here is a soul trap, okay? And your soul is trapped inside of what they have leased out to you, these demons. They've leased out a flesh suit for you. You see, flesh can't inherit the kingdom of heaven. Flesh can't leave this place. There's this parable right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I know a man in Christ 14 years ago was caught up to the third heaven. So we're talking 3 heavens. Whether in body or out of body, I do not know. That's a lie. Body is the flesh, okay? And the body of flesh cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. It never gets there, okay? Flesh will never inherit. Understand something. Flesh is corrupted. If it's lived in a flesh suit, then it's corrupted. Nothing ever came to this plane of existence and walked a perfect life and never sinned against God. Anybody believing that garbage in this shithole are fools. Okay? The Lord. So you have the Lord Yahweh and the Lord Jehovah right here. 2 distinct names. So how can there be 2 distinct names of the Lord? Why does this exist like that? Because Yahweh, Enlil, Lord, Yahweh, who's broken down from the text Enlil, is not the supreme spirit. It may be self-existing or eternal, this Lord Yahweh, because I'm believing that the God of this world here is a computer. This is why computer adds up to 666. This is why mankind adds up to 66, and mankind was created upon the 6th day. Why? Because of this. You know what this is? This is a pod, all right? I talked about this the other day. This is a pod, a baby being grown inside of a pod, but what is this really? This is a genie. It's a genie in the bottle. And once these genies come out of the bottle, this is what they are. literally, we have I think that history is it's already repeated itself. So take note that this Lord here is Yahweh, is also Enlil from earlier texts, and this has been the new translation from Enlil to Yahweh, okay? Then the Lord Enlil, your God. Enlil, your God, okay? Enlil, it was not the good God. Elohim, Elohim. Look, these gods here are plural of Eloah, which is gods in the ordinary sense. So anytime you're speaking about plural next to the Supreme Creator, then it's in error, because the Supreme Creator is not flesh. The Lord is flesh. Yahweh is flesh. Enki, flesh. Enlil, flesh. Melchizedek, flesh. Any ancestor that lived in a flesh suit was used for the glory of the Spirit of truth in this plane of existence. This is the Supreme Creator, the Spirit of truth, sitting at a table playing chess with the spirit of lies, something he created. Hear me out. You are you and I am me. We are apart from one another, but yet we are still all one infinite piece of the Supreme Creator. So God is Elohim, right there, 430, again, and El is 410 of the Strongs, and El is considered the Supreme Almighty. But the problem with El is short for electricity. El is God Zeus. This is why God Zeus is always depicted holding a lightning bolt, because El is Zeus. Hey, Zeus. Jesus. Jesus is Zeus. Hey, Zeus. Mexican, Spanish, all pronounce Jesus' name Jesus. Jesus means to hell, Zeus. You are worshiping the god Zeus, the god of electricity. For the Lord your God goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to give you the victory. That's lessons right there. This is how you learn. The officers shall say to the army, has anyone built a new house and not yet begun to live in it? Let him go home, or he may die in battle, and someone else may begin to live in it. Has anyone planted a vineyard and not begun to enjoy it? Let him go home, or he may die in battle, and someone else enjoy in it. Has anyone become... Well, before I go, look, die in battle. So your God Yahweh is getting ready to lead you into battle where you are going to clearly, people are going to die. Flesh is going to die on this plane of existence, whether you're an Israelite or whether you are a Gentile. If you're both Gentile and Israelite and fighting one another, then you are going to bleed out and lose your soul. That's what it's all about. Darkness wants a fight between the Gentile and Israel, a constant perpetual fight of black and white. It has nothing to do with black and white. Why? Because black and white is just a construct of color. You take away the skin tone on somebody's color, you peel off their skin, what's standing there before you? Just a heart beating with vessels and everything else. But if you take away all of the material count of the continents of the body itself, you take it all away, what do you have standing there? If it's an energy force, it's either good or evil. There's nothing in between. This is what the Spirit's trying to tell you. You see, Satan blinded us by color, all right? And let me tell you that in the beginning, in Genesis 1:25, when it tells us that God created the beasts of the field, each according to their kinds, that is the United Nations. That is black, white, Asian, Chinese, Japanese, North Koreans, South Koreans, it's Russians, Ukrainians, it's anyone that sits at the United Nations. They are a hive mind. They control your body. You vote these parasites into office, you lose your power to mankind. What is mankind? Right here, folks. This is mankind right here. Look, if technology has brought us to a place in time and existence where time repeats itself, and we as Gentiles right now are diving into this kind of technology here, okay, then we've done this. We've been through this. Every time the technology comes to a precipice, you understand, it comes to it can't get any smarter. This is where they're saying that quantum computers can do an equation that's taken 30 years for a human or mankind to figure out, and it does the equation in less than 3 minutes. Something that's taken mankind 30 years, a quantum computer. So if quantum computers truly exist, and this is what they're telling us in Hollywood, they're telling us over and over and over, if you really start looking at the storylines of these Hollywood's movies, they're all the same. They're all showing you that we live in some kind of hive. This is a hive right here, okay? These are called genies in the bottles. And then once these come out, they are gentiled in flesh. They are not human beings. You understand that? These are not born from a womb. This is all artificial, and artificial is being, all this is being programmed, all right? And the slave masters that are creating these things don't care dime one about any of them. They'll run them over on the road in a hot frickin' second. The creators of these pods, let me say that again, don't care dime one about any of this stuff right here. And you, folks, this is taxpayer money. You're the ones that are paying for this. This is what makes you guilty and part of the hive. You better start waking up to what White Raptor News is teaching you here, man. Okay, because this is a much deeper war than what you understand. Has anyone become pledged to a woman and not married her? Let him go home, or he may die in battle and someone else may marry her. I don't know, man. I think personally myself, no, I don't want to go to war. I don't want to die. I do want to marry. I do want to have children. I do want to walk righteous. Killing another man in battle is not a righteous act, whether it be from one god or another. Remember, these are other gods. And this is the Supreme Spirit playing out a game within his own thoughts of good and evil. If you walk righteous, then good things will happen to you. If you walk against and contrary to his commandments, the 10 commandments, very simple, then you're going to always have that voice in your head. Why does this keep happening to me? Because you keep participating in the flesh. Then the officers shall add, is anyone afraid or faint-hearted? Let him go home, so that his fellow soldiers will not become disheartened too. When the officers have finished speaking to the army, they shall appoint commanders over it. When you march up to attack a city, make its people an offer of peace. Now, before I read any further, remember, this is the Lord, folks. We're starting out here. This is all commands coming from the Lord your God. And remember, I just showed it to you. The Lord your God, the Lord is Yahweh. So this is Yahweh that's marching you into battle. All right? Genesis chapter 9, verse 6, Bible Hub. Okay. And here again, and surely I will require the life of any man or beast by whose hand your blood is shed. This is coming off of the ark with Noah, all right? And any beast whose hand your lifeblood is shed, I will demand an account from anyone who takes the life of his fellow man. If you're an Israelite and you take the life of a fellow Israelite, then you will die by the hands of probably a Gentile or another Hebrew Israelite. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man his blood will be shed. Whoever sheds the blood of man, this is coming from Lord Yahweh, by man his blood will be shed. For his own image God has made mankind. Looking at the word, God has made mankind. Remember, mankind are these right here, man. Right now, these are called genies in their bottles. But when they are exposed and come out of their bottles, they will be Gentile, released into the world, Gentiled in flesh. These are genies. They're not humans, folks, okay? Don't ever for 1 second in your life think that this is the harvest. You better wake up, man. We're at some dangerous times right now in technology, and everybody should be screaming at the government about this kind of stuff, shutting it down, burning down the fucking facilities, man. Do you get it? Destroying these people, destroying the creators of this. Okay? This is not our place. Okay? This is why God says not to worship images. These are all going to be images. Imagine one of these little poupon eggs here ruling over you. No fucking way. Okay? These are biological robots being programmed. I'm just so freaking angry about this shit anymore, man. All you Jesus Christ worshipers pushing that lie down people's throats. Oh. When you march up and attack a city, make its people an offer of peace. Well, when you march up to attack a city, make its people an offer of peace. If they accept and open their gates, all the people in it shall be subject to forced labor and shall work for you. If they refuse to make peace and they engage you in battle, lay siege to that city. When the Lord, again, Yahweh, your God, Elohim, Lord Yahweh, Elohim, delivers it into your hands, put the sword, all the men in it, as well as the women, the children, the livestock, and everything else in the city. You may take these as plunder for yourselves, and you may use the plunder the Lord your God gives you from your enemies. This is how you are to treat all the cities that are at a distance from you and do not belong to the nations nearby. Well, the nations, folks, remember here, the nations, when they talk about the nations, plural, they're talking about the United Nations. Can you put that together? Does that make sense? Images of the United Nations. Okay? These, folks, are the beast nations. It's that simple. Right there. United Nations. This is all the Gentile nations right here. This is your Gentile nations. These are the nations that were created, the beasts that were created in Genesis 1:25, when God creates the beast of the field right here. This is the field right here. All these flags, they're the field. The beast of the field, each according to their kind. Each according to their kind. That means all the nations that fly at the United Nations are beast nations. Swallow the pill. If you are not, you're called the walking dead. You're a piece of wood. You're like Pinocchio. You're like Jesus whittled out of wood on a piece of cross. You worship the dead. You're an abomination to the spirit to worship creation. You understand? Anything that moveth upon the face of the earth shall not be worshipped. Okay? You are worshiping creation and not the creator. Worship the creator alone, folks. Okay? So you got him telling you here that the Lord is going to shed your blood. I'm sorry about that. The Lord is going to shed your own blood. So I'm guessing here that the Lord is saying that if you kill another if you're an Israelite and you kill another Israelite, then your blood will be shed by another Israelite man's hands. That's what I'm getting from the parable. Okay? If you're going into battle against Gentile, which are the beast nations, I understand. I had a friend of mine, she called me up with concern because she's a firm believer that the Gentile nations will pay the same prices that the children of God did, and praise the Supreme when he does that. I could only hope that he does, that it's taken care of and he'll deal with it. But you must understand, all that's to be taken care of on the other side. It can't be taken care of in the flesh. This is why the Supreme Spirit says that vengeance is his. If we are waging war, the Gentile are waging war against Israel. The question must be asked, why? Why has the Supreme Spirit of Truth allowed his children to be in constant tyranny? Well, I'm telling you, because you guys, number one, aren't following his laws. You're not walking righteous. Okay? You got people like this. Give me a second. Farrakhan here, who's aligned himself with those in the province of Jerusalem today. All right? Understand that duality exists. The Bible's very clear and tells us that the children of Israel are a nation of children with their faces black to the ground. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2, Bible Hub. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2, Bible Hub. Judah mourns and her gates languish, her people wail for the land, and the cries go up from Jerusalem. Well, let me ask you something. Are cries going up from Jerusalem today? When's the last time anybody on this plane of existence heard anything about cries going up for Jerusalem? Jerusalem today, Israel today, seems to be the root of all evil that takes place inside. Now, I'm not saying that the true Israelite people of God are corrupted. I'm saying, though most of them are, I'm saying that those that are in the providence of Jerusalem today are not God's chosen children. Why? Because right here, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cries of Jerusalem is gone up. So this nutbag here, Farrakhan here, has aligned himself with these white imposters. Okay? These white imposters are the ones that wrote you a white Jesus Christ. Believe it or not, these are the ones that prosecuted and destroyed and killed Jesus on the cross and said that he wasn't the Messiah. Well, that's because it was the truth. They know the truth. In fact, Jesus Christ crucified may have never been put on a cross. He was hung on a tree. It tells us plainly that we are hung on a tree. So Farrakhan here is the one that murdered Malcolm X and had Malcolm X murdered. Why? Because Malcolm X was speaking out against the black man. You see, the white man can speak out against the black man all they want, man, but the black man, this black man here is a white supremacist. You heard me right. He works for the white man, those that are in the province of Jerusalem today. He doesn't work for Israel. Okay? These are the priests of Israel that have sold you out. People like this, Farrakhan, for the riches of this world. He sold his soul out to stand next to these white hybrids. Not only that, Farrakhan tells you that the black man is the one that created the white man just to see if the white man would be evil. Now you think, I'm not saying that, man. Go over to Brother Sanchez's video. Watch this one here. Watch the first 2 hours of this video here. Brother Sanchez goes into deep smoke and calls out these people and the relationship between Farrakhan and these dirty white-blooded Jews, Jewish nutbags that are in the province of Jerusalem today. Our freedoms are under attack, by the way, folks. Don't ever think that they're not. Belong to the nations nearby. However, in the cities of the nations of the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Completely destroy them. The Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded you. Well, if Israel had paid attention and wiped out all of the Hittites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, then why are we all still underneath of a Canaanite law? The Bible is a Canaanite book, folks. You understand? So clearly, all these tribes here were not completely wiped out. They're still here. They still exist. They're still almighty, and they're still powerful, and they're still ruling the world. And they're still enslaved. You, Israel, are enslaved by all of these right here today, still going on. So how can that happen? Completely destroy them. Well, you didn't completely destroy them then, did you? No, you didn't. They're still here. Otherwise, they will teach you to follow all the detestable things they do in worshiping their gods. This gods here is going to be 4:30 again. Watch. Deuteronomy 20, verse 18, Bible Hub. You see, because God is used in the singular form, and then God is also used in the plural form. So you have God here, which is Elohim, plural. It's a plural of the supreme God. Once again, plural. Okay, plural means many, in case you don't know. Plural means more than one. Many has the word man in it. Mankind are the many gods. We are the many gods. Look at the word many, M-A-N-I, and then look at the movie Austin Powers, where they call us mini-me's. Austin Powers is chasing after the mini-me, or whoever. What is his name? Sorry, it drives me nuts when I bring somebody up and I'm not able to present it. It's Dr. Evil, Dr. Powers, Douglas Powers, as known better as Dr. Evil. And he's the one with mini-me. Mini-me, as in M-I-N-I. We are the many gods. M-I-N-I, the many gods. That's us. We're lowercase gods right here. Okay. Exodus, Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 18, Bible Hub. So God's right here is 4:30, is Lelohim, plural of gods in the ordinary sense. If you hang out at this channel long enough, you're going to see that gods come in a lot of different names, and there always will be an E-L pronounced in the name, whether it be backwards or forwards, in Elohim, El Shaddai, El Elyon, angels, Michael, Gabriel, San Raphael, Uriel. They're all gods of El the supreme God. Again, 410. Let me show you. 410 of the Strong's Concordance. El, 410. L is the Greek Hebrew definition Bible tool shortened from 352, strength as objective, mighty, especially the Almighty, but used as of any deity God. So L is the god of electricity. This is why they are elevated. This is why they are the elites. This is why they are angels. Woo! Nobody fires this shit up the way I do. I'm on a level all of my own. You know why? Because I walk with the spirit of truth. I talk in the spirit of truth. I walk and talk and love and share and speak of the supreme creator of truth. I love the supreme creator. I love the children of God. And I don't know who you are. I can only tell who you are by your deeds. I can only tell who you are, Israel, by your love, by your tenderness, by your kindness, by your words of great love. That's the only way that I can tell you. Also, if you're only talking, if I'm talking about God and people try bringing up other gods or bringing Jesus into the conversation, or Buddha or the Hindu gods or the ascetic gods or any of the other 33 million gods that are on the face of this earth, these are the gods that God is saying, the supreme creator of all things, the Spirit is telling us not to worship. It's us. We're not to be worshiping one another. When you worship one another, the results of that is a government that rules over you. You're worshiping government officials and putting your trust in them that they can help you. And they could be one of these freaking babies that are grown out of a pod already, man. History could have repeated itself already. And this is why they call you the walking dead. Otherwise, they will teach you how to worship their gods. Otherwise, they will teach you how to worship their gods, and you will sin against the Lord, Yahweh, your God, Elohim. So Elohim, Yahweh, Melchizedek, Jesus, these are all gods next to God, other gods. We're to worship the Spirit. Yes, there are good entities that use the flesh suit for good. This is the plane of existence of good and evil. And then there's a plane of existence that's complete, nothing but life and beauty and warmth. Then there's this plane of existence that's good and evil, which is life and death. And then there's an eternal place that's called Sheol, and it's eternal death. And the eternal death are these maggots here. Right here, your little bedroom pod baby. Right there. You don't want to do it in a lab? You can have your pod baby growing right here at home. Thanks to our miniaturized bioreactor and long-lasting batteries, you can produce one of these parasite children inside of your very home and call it a baby of your own. How frickin' desperate. Oh. When you lay siege to a city for a long time, fighting against it to capture it, do not destroy its trees by putting an ox to them, because you can eat their fruit. Do not cut them down. Are the trees people that you shouldn't besiege them? However, you may cut down trees that you know are not fruit trees and use them to build siege works under the city at war with you fall, until the city at war will you fall. So I'm sorry about that, the way that I read that, but right there. So right away, fruit trees are supposed to be all over this plane of existence. Fruit trees for the people to eat freely, which was given. This is why we know that this plane of existence has been completely hijacked by evil, because there is no fruit trees anywhere. You have to go to market to buy your fruit today, where at one time, hundreds of thousands of years ago, before mankind destroyed everything, here's mankind, there you go, 30,000 capular bottles right there. This is a message for you in the bottle. These are your babies in the bottle. These are Gentile in their bottles, okay? And once they're grown and released, they will be Gentile released from their bottles. These will be biological robots. It's time to wake up to what's being said in the Bible, okay? So we know now that no fruit bears trees out in the wilderness other than a jungle where society isn't living. This is why they've rounded you up in cities and stuff, man. They don't want you out in nature and seeing the true beauty of this world in its most magnificence. But still the same, you're not to be in love with this world, because if you love this world, then you are at enmity with the Supreme Creator. I hope that you enjoyed the lesson. Truly, I have a true reverence and great respect for all those that love the Supreme Spirit of Truth. Okay? The Supreme Spirit of Truth is one God. He does have chosen children, okay? And the skin color, okay, to God's chosen children doesn't matter if you're a chosen child of God, okay? Stop looking at things black and white and start looking at them as good and evil. Much love. This is White Raptor News Ministries.